Show. It's the Barbara Show. Coming your way with a smile today. Down the humorous path with a lark and a laugh. It's the Barbara Show. The Barbara Show. Welcome to Humorous Adventures with Barbara.
Well, welcome once again to the Humorous Adventures with Barbara. This episode will be about first jobs I've had. So let's start with one of the first jobs I've ever had. Big qualification, babysitting. I know I talked about babysitting a little bit before, but there's a contrast in two different families that I babysat for. One family, it was a 9-year-old boy with a 5-year-old girl, and a really nice family. The boy was especially small, and even his 5-year-old sister was getting a little bigger than he was. So, when I would go over the house to babysit them, I remember the boy would get calls from kids teasing him, and I just felt so bad. So I always made sure we played card games that he could win and try to boost up his ego because he was really sweet. The whole family was really sweet. But another family, a contrast, and the two kids, and I know I talked about this one in a previous episode, was Paula was 8 and Bobby 4. These kids were so unruly, it was amazing. But I saw that they would also be disrespectful for their parents because before their parents would leave for the evening, leaving me in charge, the kids just ran amok. They just did anything they wanted to. Well, one evening, doing my homework, when I hear fighting between, Paula and Bobby in another room. And I come running out, and Bobby wants to use the bathroom, and Paula locked the door inside the bathroom, and she wouldn't let him in. And he had to pee, and so he's screaming, crying, I want to come in. So all of a sudden, Paula opens the bathroom door, and what she had done, I don't know if Bengay is a national brand, but she had taken a tube of Bengay and put it all over her hands. Bengay it has like a burning sensation once it goes on the skin, and it's really strong smell like eucalyptus. Paula had it all over her hands and put it on Bobby's face the minute she opened the bathroom door, and he starts screaming, running around the house. I'm just trying to think of a way to calm him down. Finally, I settled Bobby down. I told Paula, leave him alone. I go back to my homework when I hear it sounds like rain, and I looked outside and it wasn't raining, and I couldn't imagine where is this noise coming from. So I'm following where the noise is coming from, like this trickle of rain. Come to find out, it's little Bobby who was peeing in the dark in the kitchen behind the refrigerator. And I'm like, Bobby, what are you doing? And I guess he didn't have a chance to pee before when Paula wouldn't let him in, so he got creative and starts peeing in the dark behind the refrigerator. Well, needless to say, cleaning pee behind the refrigerator is probably not the most fantastic thing you've ever done, but this is some of the things that I had to do babysitting. And another thing was, in one of those adventures, it was in doing my homework with a pencil, the pencil was sticking out of the book. And so as I was walking by, the pencil stuck in my leg. A piece of lead went in there. And, I'm such a baby when it comes to getting out splinters or anything. And I knew that I'd have to tell my father that I had something in my leg, and then he'd be going digging for it. We called him Dr. Gross, for anything that wasn't really serious, even though he was really a police officer. Anything that happened in the family, like something in your eye or something, Dr. Gross would be the one taking a look at it. Well, needless to say, I never told Dr. Gross about the lead in my leg, and so it ended up healing over, and to this day, I have a piece of lead in my leg. And one doctor one day saw that years later and said, what's that? I said, well, it's a piece of lead from a pencil. I didn't want to tell my father. And he said, well, it'd be a major surgery to get it out now, but since it's healed over and it doesn't move around, it's fine. So, I have a little lead in my leg. Another job, well, maybe it's not really a real job, but there was a pizza place around the corner, and me and my friends, if we put the pizza boxes together for the pizza owner, he would give us free pizza. That was a job. That wasn't bad. But my first real paying job where I actually got a check was at Dunkin Donuts. Now, Dunkin Donuts, I had a uniform that was up to here with the hemline. Really cute uniform. I did a great job, got a lot of tips, and I was so good at being the waitress that the boss decided to promote me to filler. Yeah, filler. That's spelled F-I-L-L-E-R, filler. Now, what went on behind the scenes at Dunkin' Donuts as a filler was this. The jelly and the lemon, all those fillings would come to the store in big vats that I couldn't even pick up. So what I would do is the vat would be on the ground, I'd lift the cover, and then with both my arms, I'd just go like this into the jelly or the lemon, getting all the stuff, and then throwing it in the pump. Reaching down, jelly and lemon, throwing it in the pump. And then, needless to say, I would have jelly up one arm, lemon up the other arm, sugar and sugar powder all over me. I really got into my work, needless to say. And then once I filled up the pumps, you take 2 donuts, throw them in the powder, pick them up, and then put them in the pump, the lemon or the jelly or whatever, and then put them in the tray. Pick up the donuts, boom, 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 put them in the tray. I was a professional, did a really great job. So one Sunday, we had really big turnover, no pun intended. Jack, my boss, decided to go to the bank. And since it was close to the end of my shift, I started cleaning up in the back. Now, Jack always told me, take your rings off before you fill any donuts. And I'm like, yeah. Anyway, he went to the bank, and I looked at my hands, and I thought, uh-oh. The ring was there, but the emerald stone was gone. Oh no, it's in one of the donuts. So I start going and pulling the trays back, and I'm ripping up the donuts trying to see if I can find my emerald. As I'm doing this, ripping up all his profits, he forgot something. He came back. He said to me, "What are you doing?" He thinks I'm going crazy. I said, "Jack, I know you told me to take my jewelry off, but it's too late, and the emerald's gone." So you know that big window where you can watch the baker roll out the dough? What? Jack was looking for a lawsuit. I was looking for my emerald, and needless to say, it never turned up. Either it was in a donut that no one ate, or it was a donut that they took a bite of and swallowed, but the emerald was so small they didn't know. Or maybe they found the emerald and thought they could cash in, but we never heard anything about it. So at the end of my shift, literally, there was this huge sink. And because I was just covered with the jelly and the lemon and the sugar, I would actually step in the sink and hose myself down. And then Jack would always let me take like 4 dozen donuts every week home with me. So to this day, if I see a donut, I can't even eat them. Ooh. Now, the next job I had was after school, and it was a store called Bradley's Department Store. I don't even think they exist anymore. My first job at Bradley's was in the domestics department. You know, curtains and bedspreads, things like that I know nothing about. But at least I could put the curtains back in a bag if somebody, messed it up. But another thing that I did in the domestics department is I had to cut shades. They had this machine, you put the shade in, and they gave me the measurements, and I would cut it. And I wasn't too good at that either, because even though this machine was supposed to make a straight cut, a lot of times it was a little ragged. So, all right, I was moved from that department to the service desk. They called the return desk. And in this instance, the customer's always right. I would literally never mind, they would give me merchandise that the tag wasn't on. This merchandise clearly people had worn to the point that it smelled, and I would sometimes have to take it back and just do that. I couldn't believe the nerve some people had to come back and to return these things, but okay. But the best job at Bradley's was the layaway department. And at the layaway department, people would give me things to put in boxes so they could periodically come and make payments until they paid for everything before they took it away. So in the layaway department in the back, they had rocking chairs and everything. So I could be back there in my rocking chair doing my homework and then just go up to the window if they rang the bell to, give me something to do, make a payment. That was pretty good job, the Bradleys. Another job I had was working at the State House in Boston, meaning the Capitol in Boston. I had the opportunity for an internship, to work for free for the state senator. And I thought this was the greatest job because, newscasters that I would see on TV, like Channel 7 and Channel 4, these cute, anchormen would come in and ask me if they could talk to the senator to get a scoop. I would just be mesmerized. I thought that this was great. The other thing, though, is since he was a state senator, people were telling him maybe he should make a run for governor. So we needed to test his popularity. And what we did is all the staff, me, I invited friends, and we would take a poll. Basically, we were calling every sixth person in the phone book and seeing if they would vote for the senator. And just to make it fun for me, because that could be really boring, I would, if I was calling Susan Smith, I would say, "Hi, my name is Susan Smith, and I'm taking a poll," just to see if they'd say, "Wow, my name is Susan Smith." Now, some people, did say something, but most people, they didn't even catch on that I had the same name, even though I really didn't. Lastly, this last job, well, maybe not really a job, I was pledging for a sorority, and so they said, you have to dress up like a baby, and you're going to sell toilet paper 10 cents a sheet. And I couldn't leave this Boston Common until I made $50. Here I am, I'm a grown woman with a sheet and dressed up like a baby, and I'd walk up to people, "Can you buy a sheet of toilet paper?" Well, a lot of them just took pity on me and just gave me a donation so I'd get enough money. So before it got dark in the Boston Common selling toilet paper like an idiot. I wouldn't recommend this job as any kind of full-time paying job, but once again, thank you for joining me on the Humorous Adventures with Barbara.
It's the Barbara Show. It's the Barbara Show. Coming your way with a smile today. Down the humorous path with a lark and a laugh. It's the Barbara Show. The Barbara